This thing is very seductive. I mean, it moves so effortlessly. Yeah, it does kick. This is a grown-up Ferrari. Welcome to an episode of Jay Leno's Garage. We have our crew back. We still have some COVID restrictions we have to do, but we're slowly returning to normal. Okay, car featuring today, kind of automotive royalty, the return of the front-engine V12 opened Ferrari. Although it looks like a hardtop, it actually is a convertible. This is the 2021 812 GTS. Naturally aspirated, that means no turbochargers, no superchargers. It's a big 6.5 liter V12. Close to 800 horsepower, 789, something like that. When you're dealing with those kind of numbers that high up, 10 horsepower, 15 one way or the other doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Really a good looking car. I think it's fantastic. It's reminiscent of the Daytona, of course, from the early 70s, which was the legendary car, which it sort of mimics with, again, the classic front engine. Unlike that one, this has four-wheel steering. If you've never driven one of those original Daytonas, they're a bit of a bear to drive, hard steer. I mean, they used to call it a man's car. They can't use those phrases anymore. But this one actually does belong to a man, a good friend of ours. He's a Ferrari collector extraordinaire, Mr. David Lee. David, come on in. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Jay, good to see you.
You had your mask on so long, you grew a beard.
I
Look
know,
at that.
I figured I got lazy and I figured who needs to shave anymore?
I thought maybe you're working as a magician in Reno or something. I've got the little kind of nah. Yeah. Well, did you just get this?
Yeah, I just got it. This is like one of the first 812 GTSs in LA, and it's great. I've driven it down to San Diego and back. It's really a great car.
My favorite era Ferrari is the 60s and the early 70s, of course. Yeah. And this is sort of a retro look. It harkens back to that style. I mean, the big front engine. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like big front engine cars because I grew up with them. And I always remember the Daytonas. I remember just as a kid, you know, when living in Massachusetts, you never saw anything like that. Mm-hmm. And one day I was getting on Route 495 and a guy pulls off an exit, just past it, top down, you know, the exhaust blaring. It was like, oh my God, you just didn't see that around where I grew up, you know. So it always stayed in my mind. So I heard this thing revving before. It sounds incredible. Redline is just about $9 grand, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty impressive. This is what Ferrari does best. And you know, there's been some Ferraris I thought looked a bit awkward the last couple of years, whereas this one, I think, is a classic style. And it's so hard to get that retro look these days because of all the safety features, and headlights have to be this high, and side marker lights and all that kind of stuff. But they've done a beautiful job on this one. It really is nice. And thank you for not getting a red one. I think that's... I like to see Ferraris in different colors because I can appreciate them. But when everything's red all the time, it gets a bit washed out to me. But I like this. This is sort of I guess a gray. What's the official?
Well, this is Grigio GTS, so it's a new, even though it's gray color, it's it's Ferrari's new gray color for this car. Right. So we got it just brand new for this car.
Okay. And of course, well, let's see. Four-wheel steering. Those brakes are massive. Yeah. Carbon discs. Carbon composite, I guess, with four-wheel steering, which is really fascinating. It really does make the car shrink around you. It feels almost like a Miata in size, how quickly you can turn.
Yeah, well, you know, you were saying, Jay, like, because it's front engine V12, so it is kind of heavy in the front. So when you're doing on the track, it's different than the mid-engine, but with the four-wheel steering, it helps a lot.
Yeah. And the rear steering is really just this much, isn't it?
Sure.
I mean, people they don't do this. They don't turn, you know, it's like a shopping cart. Yeah. But it's just enough to make a difference. Right. And it's really impressive. I like the wheels. That's a new Ferrari wheel, I guess, specific to this car. Can we open the hood? Let's open the hood. I guess it's on this side here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's right in the middle, in the bottom.
Go ahead.
A little red. Sure. You know, Jay, you were saying it's like this is really a tribute to the Daytona Spider, which I have as well, and I really see the kind of the resemblance of how they're trying to remake this as a tribute. But you got the massive 6.5 liter
Right.
engine. Probably the last of the naturally aspirated V12 that they're going to make, because they can't get more power out of this anymore, I don't think.
Well, they always say that. When the Daytona came out, they had, was it 375?
That's what they
oh
said?
my God.
That's what they,
Yeah,
that's what they said? Okay, so then.
And I have to admit, the Daytona is impressive with the Webers and the twin oil filters and all that, but they do a nice job here. Look at these massive air intakes here,
Yeah.
because this thing must just gulp air at a voracious rate,
Yep.
doesn't it? It's
Yep.
pretty incredible. And Ferrari has sort of changed, Dave. This comes with a pretty extensive warranty, doesn't it?
Yeah, like 7 years warranty.
7 years?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty good. Is that
Yeah.
unlimited miles?
I think it's about like 50,000 miles.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great, because I remember the old days. It used to be, yon, goodbye.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They locked the door behind it, huh?
Well, it's funny because when the NSX came out, the story goes that's the car that scared Ferrari, because here was not necessarily a supercar, but a high-performance sports car that was built to a standard of precision and excellence.
yeah.
It didn't break, it didn't overheat,
Sure.
you didn't have any problem. You know, till the NSX came out, Italian cars had a reputation, finicky,
Right.
passionate, but it could be a problem.
Sure.
Don't cross the desert, you know.
Yeah.
and you-
Cross the
you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like,
yeah.
whereas all that's gone.
Yeah.
And Ferrari has a really up their reliability game to the point where it's quite impressive now. And
Yeah.
a 7-year warranty for a car like this, that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's great, actually.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep.
Let me see, anything else in here to point? I mean, everything's still covered in.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they let the engine, that's their standard look right there. It just looks pretty
Right,
like
with
that.
the Testarossa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And but you don't get to see as much as the old cars, certainly.
And I guess this would, I mean, everything is so, everyone knows the best performance is from a mid-engine car. So this car is built specifically to appeal to a specific type of customer.
Right.
It's although it's a true sports car, it's also a grand touring car, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, it's comfortable. That's what I love about Aston Martin,
Mm-hmm.
you know. When you take your wife or girlfriend out in the car, it isn't an uncomfortable, and they hate it, and it's
right,
noisy.
right.
But you know, this is obviously air conditioning and every
Sure.
other conceivable thing. And they've integrated this. I wouldn't know by looking at that this was a convertible.
Yeah, they really did a good job on the hardtop convertible now. I mean, they really got it down. And obviously, when we show how it goes down, you're going to see, but it's just really great.
Well,
And-
let's put the top down. Show us
okay,
how it works.
Sure.
And you can put it down at speeds up to 30 miles an hour, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I will.
Wow, pretty cool. Almost
Yeah.
as good as my '66 Lincoln. Yeah.
So,
Boy, that's
yeah.
great. And you really got two cars in one, don't you? That's really fantastic.
And you know, the way it's designed like this, the gal's hairs don't get blown all crazy
Right.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
important to the wife.
Yeah. 7-speed, dual clutch, right?
Yep. How you like the colors inside this?
I like the colors.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's not. Every Ferrari I see, people feel they have to get red with the tan,
Yeah,
with the,
yeah.
you know, because that's what the Ferrari is. Whereas this, because it's not red, you almost go, what kind of car is that? You know, and then you
Sure.
see all the
Right.
classic Ferrari lines. Well, a beautifully designed car, beautifully styled. I mean, this is what Ferrari does best. And this is great. What do these go for? About?
This is it goes about 580.
Wow. Okay.
So it's definitely their high-end flagship.
What options do you have on here that are perhaps we?
Well, you see the carbon fiber,
Right.
center console and driving wheel in the matte finish, and so it's I mean in general in standard it's pretty stock. These are of course new seats with the combination of Alcantara and leather.
And it's actually a carbon fiber piece. It's not carbon fiber going over.
Right,
something
it's a
else.
carbon fiber piece, so it's along the doors, along the center
Yeah.
console, and the dash. So it's a lot of use of it. For
I
sure.
had this ridiculous argument with someone And they said, no, you put these carbon fiber pieces on this car and it makes it lighter. I go, oh, it can't make it lighter. He goes, no, that's what the guy said. I said, you know, if I put a 5-pound carbon fiber hat on your head, you're not going to be 5 pounds lighter. You're going to weigh 5 pounds more because it's on your head.
Right.
I said, if you replace it with carbon fiber, then it's lighter. Well, that's what they've done here, obviously.
Yes,
But he just couldn't get it through his head. He just thought if you stick carbon fiber on, it didn't make any sense.
It might not even be carbon fiber. It looks now there's a lot of look-alike plastic. It's like carbon fiber
it's
design.
It's like kosher style. You know, it's not really kosher. The rabbi walked by the building. You know, something. And the rake of this windshield is incredible. Look at that.
This piece right here for the GTS, so you know it's a GTS.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that the air kind of gets directed toward the center there for aerodynamics.
Yeah, and do you have any trunk space with the top down?
Yeah, let me open up the trunks. Okay. So there's some trunk space here.
Oh,
and hey,
look at that.
Yeah,
well,
look at that.
Yeah,
see?
I always make fun of him not wearing socks, but he's given me a denim mask, you see, which is very, very stylish.
Yeah, see, it's really like, and he doesn't have one yet, so this is his first one. Look at that, looks great on you.
Very nice. Well, I will wear this.
Yeah, no,
well, thank
please.
You very much.
Sure.
And you actually have a pretty good sized trunk. Because usually when these type of cars, when the top goes down, it just takes up the whole trunk. But that's impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, in this configuration with front engine V12, they have a trunk space, and that's with the convertible too. So that without the convertible, probably bigger.
Now this also comes in a hardtop, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the 812 Superfast.
And I'm guessing it's probably 275 pounds difference between this.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, that's not bad. That's like just one fat passenger.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess you can unload that. And
when you got 800 horsepower, really, the difference is a tenth of a second, maybe.
Because this will pull.
Yeah. Well, very pretty, very impressive car.
Yep.
What other features does it have?
Of course, it's got the carbon fiber all on the outside, on the skirts, and the rear.
It's amazing. There's no bright work on the car at all, with the exception of the Ferrari name. And is that?
Yeah, that's the Ferrari.
Is that polished aluminum or even chrome? I think it's polished aluminum.
Yeah. There's the horse. I didn't get the badge on the side. You know, where you could have the badge on the side. So this one. I
don't like the badge on the side. It's like,
Ferrari
right over here. But I mean, I get it.
Right.
I like the. Ooh, is that a Ferrari look?
So I didn't do that. So it's much more understated.
Now, is that standard badge on the side? You have to pay to have
that's an option. That's always an option. You have to pay for. But a lot of people that want people to know that's Ferrari, they opt for that option.
I love the fact that all the scoops and vents are functional.
Yeah.
And of course, your serial number right here. How many of these are they going to import? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It's definitely a limited production because nowadays with the way the Ferrari's going, they're not going to say like exactly how many numbers anymore. It seems like going forward, but it is a limited production, so it's kind of a mystery. But I know that it's not. It's really not.
Usually, if it's the 812, they make 812. That's sort of the way they used to go in the old days. And obviously, you got your paddles.
Yeah, the paddle shift. And carbon fiber.
And that steering wheel doesn't look too busy. I mean, just a few gauges on it there. Not a few controls, rather.
This one is still kind of the traditional Ferrari setup. The Roma is going to be really different, and I'm getting that, so certainly we can check that out when that time. But the Roma has all the gadgets and the touch and everything that's really different.
This is probably meant to appeal to the older customer with no socks and a beard, that type of guy.
It's easier for me to get into accept something like this.
Exactly what I'm saying. No, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a very impressive looking car. It does exactly what you want it to do. Nobody's really tracking these.
No.
So it's fun to. You can actually drive it someplace.
Yeah, sure.
Because in the old days, it used to be, don't take the Ferrari because it's 200 miles and it's going to be noisy and windy and it might break.
Right,
You know?
right,
Whereas
right.
now you've got a
No.
7-year warranty, and that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
No,
impressive.
this is really a car you can use and take. Like I said, I took it to San Diego and back. You know, I put in already good 400 miles on it, and it's just enjoyable.
And
driving.
how long has Ferrari had the 7-year warranty? Because you've got quite a few cars.
Yeah, they've had it for the last few models. They've had it for five years or so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think that's great. I mean, that shows a real belief in the product. You know.
Yeah. But you know, like you say, competition makes the situation.
Yeah,
you know.
it makes it better.
Yeah,
it
makes
does.
it better.
Well, you know, there's so many good cars in the mix now. You've got Koenigsegg, you've got McLaren, you've got Bugatti. I mean, the fact that Bugatti can sell 350 cars at so many $1 million a piece.
that's amazing.
You wouldn't even think there'd be that much of a market. But
You're right.
That's impressive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's made Ferrari up their game just as the Dodge Viper made Corvette up their game. You know, before the Viper, the biggest Corvette you get was 375 horse. And then the 400, okay, 450, okay. So,
Yeah.
You know, and it goes from there. But very nice, very
Yep,
nice.
yep.
David, show us the controls.
Sure.
I like the pedals too, nicely done.
Yeah, there's nice pedals there, and the tradition of Ferrari. So a lot of the buttons they wanted to be on the steering wheel so that it doesn't take your hands off of it.
Right.
You got the right and the left signals here. The
Oh, right. You know, it's so funny. You know, my Ford GT has the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And I find myself almost looking for a stock, and then so I almost find it disconcerting because every other car in the world has the stock.
Right,
you know.
right.
Okay.
So that's for that, and then you got the washer here. You got the high beams here.
Right.
This is
Oh, no
for,
high beam on the floor.
no, yep, yeah, it's high beams here.
Yeah.
The bumpy road shocks are here.
Right.
This is the start, stop,
Right.
the phone, and the verbal command. Now this is of course important. The Mantanini, which is you got the wet mode, sport, race mode.
Right.
Computer off, partially and completely off.
Right.
So that's all in here.
Now, is there comfort mode? Like, do they have that too? Or is it, what do you have?
That would be sport or wet mode. I mean, I guess
Okay.
they would call it like that. Yeah. So
And which mode do you have it in now?
race mode,
race
which,
mode, okay.
you know, wants you to feel the power and the shifting and everything. Here you have all the different temperature, and
oil
and
pressure,
everything,
all that kind of right.
stuff,
Gotcha.
and the tire.
I sort of do miss seeing the row of gauges, you know.
Yeah.
It annoys me. I wonder what the oil pressure. Nope. And then I'm looking at, you're just looking at the.
Yeah. So it's all you don't have to think about on the new car almost. When I drive my older cars, the classic cars, all the gauges you got to focus on. You know, is it
Right,
going to
right.
overheat? Is there this and that? And it's so much more concentration. Here you just don't have to concentrate anymore.
And the wheel's a nice compromise to a full oval with the flat bottom on it there like that.
Yeah. And then over here you got the reverse, the automatic, and then the launch control right here.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to do the launch control when.
No, something I don't really use launch control. I always feel like I'm taxing. I know they can do it,
Right.
but I just feel like I'm just twisting metal for the sake of. I like a rolling start and then I nail it. And to
Right.
me, that's the idea of tearing off and shredding tires and smoke, and it's all right. I mean, it's a little high school.
Yeah, that's like the high school button. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So that's you got the up right here. This is an important one where it lifts the up, in the
Oh, you
front.
can lift the front end.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's good for coming off the curbs and things like that. And the different angles, the button for the different angles, the parking sensor. So now they have all that. And I've noticed the last two, because my F8 Spider and this one, I've noticed that it comes with this just changing lane warning signal.
Right.
And so when you put the signals to change lane, and even though somebody's really far away, it's like, hey, somebody's right there. So
Right.
it makes
So
you kind
if a
of.
lesser car approaches you, hey, there's some low-end car coming. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's what that's about. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple.
Cool.
That's really it.
Let's give it a shot. Sounds good.
Yeah.
This thing is very seductive. You know, it's nice to have this much power with pretty extreme comfort. I mean, this is a Mercedes-Benz or Bentley or Rolls-Royce level of comfort in this car. and combined with the power and the handling, it's really impressive.
You know, Jay, you've been in a lot of my cars, and I really feel that you sat very comfortable in this car, and obviously the power doesn't disappoint you. So yeah.
No, it's good. Well, it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? I mean, I have a Carrera GT, which I love, but to put the top up, I put it up if I think I'm going to be using it for the next month, because it's such a pain to figure out the straps and which way it goes. This one goes down, the other piece turns the other way. I mean, this you can do it on the fly. You can do it. It speeds up to 30 miles an hour, so you're okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very convenient.
But there is a weight penalty, like you say. It's about not quite 300 pounds, something like that. But that's okay. With 800 horsepower, you know. You know, the writer David E. Davis from Car and Drive and Automobile, it's one of my favorite expressions. He said that, or favorite sayings, I guess. He said everyone should drive a V12 car at least once in their life. And this is really the classic example of it. You get a smoothness, a turbine-like quality to it that almost feels electric, like an electric car, in the sense of if it wasn't for the noise, you'd think it was electric. It's so incredibly smooth and well balanced.
Well, and like you said earlier, the naturally aspirated is what gives you that sound. Once goes electric or any kind of turbo, it's just going to be really different. There was an article they asked about in Bloomberg that just kind of aired, and it was about how quick and how everything is with electric and more powerful. And I said I don't like it. I like the sound. I like the power and the roar and stuff. And I know you're in the same camp. It's not
I like the electric. It's so funny. I like the glorious noise, and I like the complete absence of sound. I wouldn't want an electric car that made just like a regular car idling kind of noise. You know what I mean? Just a noise. So the idea that you can move quickly from point A to point B without anybody even turning ahead is interesting. I know living in Los Angeles, especially now that you have to have outdoor dining, like in Beverly Hills, you just hear open pipe Ferraris just going up and down Rodeo Drive, just revving. They're just making, to the point where I go, oh, I see why people hate car people, because they're just being disruptive, With an electric car, you don't have any of that. But I like this because I'm driving it now, I don't hear the noise. And when I put my foot down like now, then it's like a glorious symphony, And just when I think I'm out of revs, I realize, oh, I'm only at $6,000, and I got 3,000 more to go.
Yeah. I see what you mean. I can agree with you.
I remember a Ferrari from the 60s I drove once, the Super America, I believe it was called. And that was a big car like this one. And it was the same sort of idea, grand touring, comfortable car where you could cross continents with it, And I thought that thing was fabulous. But I'm just surprised at the level of comfort and precision. It's really very, very nice.
Well, I've read that in this lineup of what all the cars that were kind of in line with this car. First, of course, the Daytona Spider, then the 550 Barchetta, which I have, then the 575 Super America, which you talked about driving, the 599 SA, and now this 812 GTS. So it's that.
Right.
You're exactly right. It's in that same line of what they're trying to do.
It moves so effortlessly.
And you can hear the engine so much better with the top down. That's the thing that some people, they don't understand. With the top down, you can hear the engine. This sounds better.
Yeah, and there's a feeling of more, so many modern cars, I feel like I'm driving a tank. The windshield's like a slit, and the windows are small. So the fact that this opens up to the air like this is really great.
And we're so lucky to live in Southern California, where the weather is always, most of the time, 95% of the time, so good.
Right. Later we'll drive it with the top up and see the difference.
Are you getting looks and stuff, or is it very unassuming as we planned it to be?
Well, it's interesting. If you wanted to hide from the police, this gray color is the best way to do it. It's like, oh, what is that? It does sort of blend into traffic.
pretty smooth, right? The shifting is
incredibly
the
smooth.
double clutch.
Transmission is fantastic. Yeah, it does. Boy, it really moves. It's amazing. It's like a guy in a tuxedo suddenly bursting into song and dance. You know, it's unassuming.
Right.
And the sound is perfect. It's just loud enough to make you aware without being droning or being annoying. I mean, this is a grown-up Ferrari.
For the big boys, for sure.
Well, it is, yeah. I love the tachometer right in front of the driver. I like the fact that this car has a purpose and it does it well. You know, some of the other Ferraris they're supposed to be this, but they got a foldable roof and you got to take it, you know, or there's no roof at all, which seems crazy. You know, just the fact that I can talk with the top down is impressive, because in most cars, we have to close the windows because the mic will be all blown all over the place. But
yeah, no doubt. And you know what? I was obviously, if you plug the phone through the system, and you could then do this handless talking through the car, and it's also very good too.
Right. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Okay. Here you go. There you are. And we're ready to go. Look at that. Very cool. It's funny, it's actually noisier with the top up and the windows down. When the windows closed, it's probably dead silent, but it's a Ferrari. We got to put the top down. There you go. Very quiet.
Oh, you got the top on now?
It's actually dead silent here now.
Yeah, now it's super comfy now. Now you can listen to your music and everything.
Oh.
Jay, do you normally have your radio on, or you're not on the radio?
No, I'm not a big radio guy. I'm listening to the music of the engine now.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, I love the, I just saw the red line in the tack and the steering wheel.
Oh. Yeah. It's cool because they want you to keep your eyes on focus in the center there, and that right there can.
I'm at $6,000. Let's go to right now 85. Oh, there we go. Let's see how these brakes work.
The carbon ceramic brakes is gonna. Yeah, you gotta tell me how that works.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I guess this voids my break-in period warranty, huh?
Yeah, that's. Oh, are you still on? How many miles on break-in?
I think it's 1,000 miles.
Wow. But it doesn't restrict the red line or anything. It seems.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah. Wow, this is a great car. You know, I love that it's an overstated car in an understated color. So consequently, it's classy. You know, it's a classy color. You get all the Ferrari essence in terms of style and sexiness without having it right in your face. I mean, I do love red cars, but I see so many red Ferraris that it becomes overwhelming to me. And in this shade, it gives it a nice subtle. Like, you don't have to broadcast the fact that it's a Ferrari. Well, David, it's a lot of fun. I'm sorry I can't return it to you. I've got an appointment in Vegas in about 3.5 hours, so I'll try and get the car back to you tomorrow. But thanks a lot. You know,
Wait, Jay, it's all right. I see a McLaren F1 here that I can take to borrow. Why are you taking it for the weekend?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But hey, all serious, David, thank you. This is a real treat. You always bring these cars here that we would have no access to. So thank you very much. So David Lee, everybody. See you next week.
Mm-hmm.